Greetings, family, and welcome to What Marriage Means to Me with your host, Essie Zulu. Firstly, let me again appreciate you for continuing to watch, for liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Indeed, we are growing. And also, before we start on today's topic, I just want to share, as you've been seeing me wearing this, I sell the sweaters written "In You All Is Found." And I've just written a book which is out already, and we are launching in the first week of November, so you can get yourself the copy of the book and the journal, but you'll find all the information on all my social networks. So get yourself this merchandise. In You All Is Found. We'll talk about it some other time, but today we have a topic I want to talk about today, share with you. It is also part of my experience of being married of 21 years, marrying at 18 years with a matric certificate only. But I just want to speak on, drum roll, don't laugh please when you hear the topic. It is beetroot curry. Yes, beetroot curry. Yeah, I know, you've never heard of such. I'm the first person maybe in the whole world who's ever done a beetroot curry. But let me share with you how I got to cook a beetroot curry. Okay, it starts here. 18 years, married, was unemployed. I was studying at a certain university. My husband was working. So the money that we received from where we was working, 60% of that money went towards our rental, and the 40% went towards my traveling expenses, food, and dressing up or clothes. So it was not easy. But again, we managed to survive. In fact, in all honesty, the support of our parents came in very handy, because the fridge that we had, his mother gave it to us, as well as the stove, and we bought for, I think it was 250 or 300, you know, those cupboards, those two-door cupboards. We had that in our kitchen. So we had 3 items in our kitchen, and the pots that we used were from my aunts, my mother's sisters, who gave them to us. So, and we did not have any chairs in the lounge, and we had only a bedroom set, which, you know, when you get married in the Zulu culture, your family buys in the bedroom suite. So we only had that. So whenever we had visitors, they will sit on the floor, and my husband would say, just imagine you are sitting on those comfortable sofas. And people, I believe they used to imagine, I don't know, but again, that's how we started our journey of marriage. And as much as we started with those items that we had, because of the 40% that we had to live by, it was not easy. So we had assistance at the time of his mother, who would sometimes buy us stuff using her using her pension money. My grandmother as well will also pitch in, and some friends will also pitch in when it got tough. But I'm not regretting, you know, those first years. I do not regret those first years, and I do not regret the experience, because one of the things that it did for us in our marriage is to strengthen our union. But there were days, I'm just gonna share some of those days. There were days where we had nothing. In the fridge, we'll have a jug of water. They will find there will be nothing on the vegetable rack, or maybe we'll have a rice and there'll be no lokuzana, gravy things, and ban. So that is the life that we lived, and it was not a once-off thing. You know, it was not a once-off thing. It was a couple of months thing, that will happen. And every time that will happen, you know, because of one's faith, you'll be encouraged, you'll encourage yourself, you'll be encouraged through the word, you'll be encouraged at church, and you'll be like, no, it will be better. The following month is going to be better. The next time is going to be better. And the prayer, you'll find peace. But I think there was a time where it really got into me. Like, I got so fed up, so tired with the situation of lacking. And also, because remember that I spoke about the background. Because of my background, my grandmother was a nurse. So we've never in my 17 years, 18 years, let me say, in my 18 years of living at home, I had never had an incident or a time where we had nothing. There was never a time where we had curry that was not completely rice, that did not have curry, or curry that did not have starch or whatever. We might not have veg, but again, you'll always find starch and curry or nyama or what have you. But again, here I'm married, experiencing a lack of such a nature in my life, and it was hard. It was very hard for me, especially for me, because of the experience, because of my background. I had never experienced it, never in my life. And in fact, you know, when you marry, there are things that you just don't think of. You do not think, I will ever lack. You always think then it's going to be smooth sail. Now I was like that. I thought, since I'm married, it's going to be talalala. Everything is going to be smooth. But then, in life, you get good to know there is no smoothness. In fact, this is also what you're going to experience. It is part of your history, and it's something that you'll share one day. Hence, I'm sharing with you. So this one time, it just got to me. It got to me. I got angry. I got emotional. I started to cry, and I was not in a good space. You know, I cried in one of the rooms, because it was a 3-bedroom house at the time. So I cried in one of the rooms, and I was like, why? Why, God? Why did I get married? Why did I marry now? Did I get married to lack? Did I get married? Is this going to be my life? You know, when you're in a situation, you quickly go to the end and thinking, because I'm going through this, that's the end of, in fact, this is the rest of my life, and my life is ending in this manner. And you don't think, no, it's part of an experience, and it's not going to last long. But anyway, I then went to my husband, who was in our main bedroom. I came there, my eyes are red, tears. And I'm like, tell me something that I do not know about this God that you are serving. Because I do not understand this God. How can this God allow us to suffer in such a manner? How can this God allow us to lack? You know, I was crying, asking him, tell me something. I need to know something that is different from what I know, because I do not understand this God. How can this God allow such a situation to happen to us? And he was like, Spindile, God is good. God is wonderful. God is faithful. God is loving. And as much as we're going through this situation, you just need to be careful that you do not complain, and you need to be thankful. And I'm like, what is there to be thankful of? Really, what is there to be thankful of? Because when you are going through a situation, I can tell you, when you're going through a situation, you just do not see what to be thankful for. There is nothing to be grateful for. You are just looking at the situation, and you're like, get better. And I was like that. And then I went out of the bedroom, still in that emotional state. I sat there in the bathroom. Now went to the bathroom crying. Sat there crying like, Ngos, what is it? What is it? Tell me. Is there something that I'm supposed to learn from this thing? Or what? What type of God you are? What type of God are you, in fact? What type of God are you to allow us to go through the situation? It was hard. It was hard for me. But in that process, you know, the good thing about being a child of God is, in the process of distress, pain, worry, and all that, and all those things that we experience when you are troubled, you know, there's that still small voice. They always say, there's still small voice that says, it shall be well. It is well. It is well. And I heard that voice. It is well. I wiped out my tears. I washed my face. Wiped my tears. Washed my face. And I was like, as much as I do not understand the situation, as much as I'm not understanding the lesson that I need to learn from this thing, but the only thing that I found from after all the crying is that it is well. It was tough, Bafetu. Luckily for us, after a couple of months or a year, he got a job somewhere which paid better than where he was getting his salary from. Paid better. It paid better. But then, Being faith people, we got a flat in town, and the 60-40 applied again. 60% of the money they received, it went through to a rental, and the 40% went towards the food, the traveling, and the clothes. So that which meant that our situation did not change. As much as the money was better, but the situation did not change because the imbalance, there was never 50-50, but it was always a 60-40. And that the lack also continued even when we moved. We still did not have things. Luckily, we were in the flat. In fact, before we even moved, we entered the competition. Yaga, True Love in Bona. In Bona, we became the couple of the year. Yes, we became the couple of the year. So we got to get gifts in us winning. We got to get a sofa and some pots and some nice cutlery and some towels and so on and so on that we won at Bona. And also we entered the True Love. So we also got to get more other things, so it was better. So when we moved from the township to central town, we had the sofas, we had towels, we had the plates, cutlery, and it was better. But still again, because of the 60 and the 40 money that was coming in, the issue of food was not solved. Still, we lacked. Our parents helped, but they did not help every time because they were pensioners. But whenever they could, they did. Buffet, to the benefit of having parents ngempela. Yeah, but it's so awesome because even though it was not a monthly thing, a contribution yabo, but in those months it helped. You're having a mother-in-law to call and say, ma, I can't be like this month, and having a gogo to call and say, gogo, I can't be like this month, and whatever that they had assisting, it was a blessing for us. It was really a blessing. So then this one time still there was no food for whatever reason, as you know, the 60-40, but we did not have food on this particular time. But I remember specifically we had a jar of beetroot slices in the fridge. We had oil, we had a curry powder, and we had rice. Hey, my husband was at work, thinking my husband is gonna come back from work and with no food. I ain't no fuzz. You have to do something. Nami ke ngaba creative. Decided to be creative because I did not want my husband to come back home with no food on the plate. I had never seen ukari beetroot before. I have never heard of ukari beetroot before. I had never tasted ukari beetroot before. But because beetroot is something that we had at the time, Uspindile decided to be creative. So here I am in the kitchen. Oil, shisa, take a beetroot from the jar, cold as it is, cut into slices, thin slices. When we want a carrot mukata for the thing, and here I am putting beetroot la no curry powder and mix. Bafethu ngicela ningayenzi lento engayenzi futhi nami lama sangenelwe yini. I think ngangenelwe nje ukuba creative noma ngangenelwe umsakano noma ngangenelwe angazi, but whichever one you want to decide to describe ukuthi ngangenelwe yini, fethu I accept ngangenelwe lonto leyo. Kawenza ku curry, wadleka no curry lutho. He comes back from work, I share, we don't have food. I decided to cook and use beetroot as ukha wangihleka, like he laughed. Wathi kodwa siphindile kuzo zonke izinto, like kuzo zonke nje siphindile izinto obungayicabanga nokuba creative kwakho. Beetroot wake wazopha beetroot wenza ukhari. Ngathi mina I don't know, I've never heard of such, but I decided to be creative and just think of on my feet. But the thing of my feet was bad because ngayilahla le yanto bafethu because it was not edible at all. But it's an experience. One can laugh at it now because a person has been through it. But in those times, it was not easy, it was hard, it was challenging. Nami, I thought it will help to be creative. Nana, I'm sure you've got your own stories. It will help to be creative. But again, I learned my lesson. Kuti, there will never be ukari wa beetroot. And I will never do ukari ka beetroot. And angazi ngangiphetwe yini ngenza ukari ka beetroot. Angudlanga ukari ka beetroot. But I know ukari ka beetroot or not edible because I never even tasted it. So that is our journey. I learned what marriage means to me. Sometimes when you are faced with things in your marriage that are very challenging, and sometimes you have to be creative. You know, when it gets hard, when it gets challenging, be creative. Because sometimes it doesn't help. In all honesty, it doesn't help to wallow in complaint. It does not help to wallow in self-pity. It does not help and then say, I get better. Because I could have called my granny and said, go get better, I'm coming back home. This man is failing to provide. I could have exposed him to my family. I could have exposed him to his mother. I could have exposed him to my friends. Uguti, Lalela, this man that I'm married to, he is failing to provide for me. I could have done that. I could have gone home. Like, he very background agreed. I don't have experience of lacking. But I stayed with him. And I'm so grateful that I did stay. Because today you get to hear my story. Yeah, Beetroot car. You get to hear my story. There were months where we stayed in a house that had no chairs, no sofas. And in the challenge that we had as a couple, married young, we also got creative. We were able to see an advert on a newspaper, Ilanga. At the time, we were able to see in adverts on the True Love and enter those competitions and win. If we allowed a challenge, we would not have gotten creative. We wouldn't have gotten the things that we got. As much as I would never recommend beetroot curry to anyone, but I'm grateful for the experience, because now you've never heard of such. Now you know of a person who has done beetroot curry. So at the end of it, marriage is a journey, and we all have our experiences, and we all have things that we can say about umshado. But the good thing, it is those experiences that when you have gone through, you are able to laugh about them. Good, hey, do you remember that time? Do you remember the time? That is how it has taken us. That's what has taken us 21 years of marriage. We have so many stories. I've got so many stories to share with you. The things that we encounter in our journey of marriage. So I just want to encourage you. If now when you're going through a hard time of your marriage, you're going through a hard time with your spouse, and you're thinking, Guti, no, this is not what marriage is. This is not what I know. This is not what I've seen. This is not what I've seen. This is not what I've experienced in my house with umshado. But here I am married, and this is what I'm experiencing. Take those experiences and write them down. They are your experiences. They are part of your history. They are part of your journey. And one day you will share about them. One day you'll talk about them and laugh. Today, like, we don't, because we thank God, we don't lack in that manner, which is a senza, beetroot curry. So that is my story of beetroot curry. Please don't do beetroot curry. Please, please, please. I did that. Don't do it when. But that is what marriage means to me. When there's a challenge, get creative. So on that note, I will see you next time with another video, with another story of what marriage means to me, with your host, SC Zulu. Remember to subscribe, to like, to comment, to share with your friends. And especially, I love the commenting section, because I get to hear also your stories. So please also turn on those notifications so that when the video comes in, you are the first person to watch. Till next time, what marriage means to me with your host, SC Zulu. See you next week, Wednesday. God bless you. Bye.